Most people think that a good logo is just about making something that looks nice. And honestly, that's a good start. But a logo that just looks nice and a logo that actually works, those are two completely different things. So, today we are talking about what actually makes a good logo. Not a list of rules to follow, but design decisions that matter and why they matter. Here's how I like to think about it. A good logo is not the prettiest one in the room. It's the most appropriate. Appropriate for the brand, appropriate for the audience, and appropriate for the spaces it needs to live in. Every single decision in a logo, the shape, the font, the style, the level of detail, should all be backed by the brand strategy. Who is this brand? Who are they speaking to? Where is this logo going to show up? Those questions should be driving the design, not what is cool right now. Now, there are some well-established qualities that good logos tend to share, and they are worth knowing, not as a rigid checklist, but as a practical lens to evaluate your work through. First is simplicity. A simple logo is easier to recognize, easier to remember, and easier to use everywhere. Think of the Apple logo. A clean shape and everything stripped back that you could probably draw it from memory. Simplicity is not about being boring, it's about being clear. Next is memorability. Can someone remember your logo after seeing it just once? The best logos have one strong idea at their core. One thing that just sticks. The FedEx logo has a hidden arrow, for example. In the negative space between the E and the X, one clever idea that people never forget once they see it. Next is versatility. A good logo works across different formats and sizes. It looks right on a business card and on a billboard. It works in color and in black and white. If your logo only works in one specific context, it's not versatile enough. Linking through that is adaptability. It is really closely related to versatility, but it goes one step further. An adaptable logo works across different contexts: digital, print, embroidery, signage. And if you watch the previous video on logo variations, you will know exactly why a logo system matters. Different variations, but the same brand. We also have timelessness. A logo built around a design trend has an expiry date. Trends come and go. A good logo is designed to last. It does not lean too heavily on what's fashionable right now. And lastly, recognizability. Over time, a good logo becomes synonymous with the brand. You don't even need to read the name, you just know. That level of recognition is built through consistency, but it starts with a logo that is distinctive enough to own its own visual space. All of those qualities only mean something when the decisions behind them connect to the brand strategy. Let me give you an example. Imagine two logos, both simple, both clean, both well executed. One is for a children's toy brand and the other one is for a high-end law firm. The same design choices will not work for both. The toy brand needs energy, playfulness and color. The law firm needs to feel stable, trustworthy and authoritative. A good logo is not just technically well made. It feels right for the brand, who it's made for, and for the people who they are speaking to. So before you open a design tool, ask, what does this brand stand for? Who is the audience? And what should somebody feel the first time they see this? Let those answers guide the design. Now let's talk about two things that come up a lot and where judgment really matters. Illustration logos. Illustration logos are beautiful, detailed, characterful, and full of personality. And they absolutely have a place in branding. Think craft breweries, artisan food brands, boutique studios. But here's the thing. A highly detailed illustration does not always scale down well. Shrink it to a favicon or embroider it on a cap and the detail disappears. So, if you go the illustration route, you always need a simplified companion. A cleaner, reduced version of the same mark that can live in those smaller spaces where the full illustration just won't work. The illustration is not the problem. Designing without a plan for those smaller spaces, that is. Photos in logos. Using a photograph as a logo is something I generally would steer away from, and here's why. Photos do not scale. What looks detailed and sharp on full size becomes a blurry mess when you reduce it to a smaller size. A logo needs to work at every size, from a massive storefront sign to a tiny browser tab. Photos are also nearly impossible to reduce to a single color, and there are plenty of situations where you need that, like embroidery, engraving, one color printing, dark or light backgrounds. A vector-based logo can be adapted, but a photo cannot. And practically speaking, if you use a photo you found online, you are almost certainly using something that belongs to someone else. It's a legal problem waiting to happen. Can a logo incorporate photographic elements in some creative or experimental context? In a very specific high-budget brand work, possibly, but for most brands, most situations, a vector-based mark is always the stronger, more practical choice. So designing a good logo is not about ticking boxes. It's about making decisions that is right for the brand. Decisions that connect back to the strategy, hold up across every context, and stand the test of time. Simple, memorable, versatile, adaptable, timeless, and recognizable. Those qualities matter, but they don't land when the decisions behind them aren't intentional. So design for the brand, not for just the brief, not just for what looks good today, but for what will serve the brand well, everywhere it shows up, for years to come. Thank you so much for watching.